You know, it really is pretty damn terrifying to watch the machine work, to watch what it can do to anyone that it targets. And really, even more than that, to watch what it does to the brains of the people that it uses, man. I'm going to show you a clip of JD Vance saying something that just not that many years ago, everybody knew. No matter how crazy or wacky or tribalist or partisan you were, you knew this stuff to be true. But now the machine wants to tell you that JD Vance is some sort of racist or thisism or whatever, right? But as you watch this, guys, let me know in the comments. Is this crazy? Is this bigoted? And honestly, if you think it is, please explain to me how.
Like the sterilizing of kids and all this stuff. Like, what do you think the actual purpose of that shit is?
I don't know, man.
Like, what would the...
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I had a friend from law school. I got into a big argument about this with a few years ago, and we're basically not friends anymore, which is sad because I love this person. But I think part of it is these people think that everything that's different about men and women is, they use this word, socially constructed, right? It all comes from culture, and it's like we all know this, right? Men and women, yeah, some of our differences are cultural, some of our differences are just basic biology, right?
Yeah.
And I think they're so uncomfortable with that they try to biologically change men into women and women into men, because if you can get rid of the biological differences, then you can kind of get rid of all the other differences too. And I think you guys know Tucker Carlson, right? Yeah. So Tucker and I have talked a lot about this, but men and women being different to me is not like a bad thing. It's a source of one of the coolest parts about being like a living, breathing human being in the world, right? Is women think about stuff slightly differently than men do, and that is a good thing. And we shouldn't try to like destroy those differences in the name of equality. We should give women and men equal opportunity and equal chances.
Yeah.
But sometimes people are going to make different choices, right? And that's okay. And because men and women make different choices, that's like not an excuse to sterilize kids to try to turn a girl into a boy or vice versa. But that's what they're doing. And man, the tell on this stuff, like I really didn't care about this stuff until a few years ago. I think maybe being a father changes your mind a little bit on this stuff. But the tell for me was when they started saying, well, this stuff is totally reversible. If you give hormonal therapies to a 9-year-old kid, that is not totally reversible. I mean, these kids have like bladder problems and other stuff that's just gross. And why are we doing this to our kids without any real confidence in the science? It makes you realize, frankly, a lot of the public health establishment in this country is pretty deranged.
And it's also a whole nother, like, I don't think people even recognize this. It's a whole nother, like, a revenue source for the pharmaceutical industry, where it's like, they're making it like, I forget what the word is when you can get your insurance to pay for something, where it's like, if it's a life, you need it.
Yep.
They're making
then
it like
it becomes reimbursable.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it's like, people don't even recognize
dark.
Where
dude,
now it's
yes, that's the exact right word for it. It's dark. I mean, dude, like one of the things I actually agree with, at least the old school left on, is you got to be careful about when big corporations use financial incentives to control the government, right? Yeah. Like you don't want people getting rich because they passed a law.
I know.
You want people getting rich because they make products that people need, right? So this is always a criticism that the old left made about American healthcare is you don't want to force doctors to give people something just because it's going to make some pharmaceutical company rich, right? That doesn't make any sense. And yet, we right now are giving kids hormonal therapies. Pharmaceutical companies are making billions of dollars off of this.
Yeah.
And none of us are looking around and saying, well, wait a second. Is this good because they're making money off of it? Or is it good because it's actually in the best interest of these kids? And that is something, again, the Democratic Party of 30 years ago would have went wild over this because it's money intersecting with medicine in a way that's really bad for human beings. And now the only people talking about it are Republicans.
Yeah, obviously a true and unashamed extremist, right? No one else would dare say something so reasonable. The guy's got to be an extremist. But how true is that, man? And I've often said it's a $2.1 billion industry. And really, honestly, it's the medical industry's favorite kind of care because it becomes what's called chronic care, which basically means you're a patient for life, man. Once you become dependent on whatever it is they're offering, whatever it is they put you on, it's a lifelong process, man. It isn't just nip and tuck and take some pills and send you on your way. It's a lifetime, man. And it's true. They are absolutely right. We don't have real information on this. We got no respected studies, no long-term studies. We just have nameless, faceless experts that are making $2.1 billion a year. And they got the best gig because if you speak out against them, you get shut down. You're just a backwards, bigoted, mega cult member, man. And it is, it's terrifying stuff. I told you, it's terrifying.
Republicans.
You know, it's weird. I saw the Gavin Newsom pass that bill recently about how if a kid wants to become trans at school, they don't have to tell the parents.
Which is sick.
Which blew my mind to even hear something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, which is sick because, I mean, like all of us have been teenagers before. All teenagers go through awkward phases where they don't exactly know what their place is. Or they, people go through emo phases, or they dye their hair black. Like every kid goes through some developmental phase where they're confused. And what this weird movement is doing is encouraging people to like latch onto their insecurities, not tell their parents about them, right?
Yeah.
And then I haven't confirmed this, so check my facts here, but I've also heard that in California, like if you're a parent and you think maybe it's a little crazy to give your 12-year-old hormonal therapies, you can be at risk of having your kids taken away. Like I'm a father of 3, that would make me go absolutely like, we're moving to the hills, keep your hands off my kids, this is crazy town.
But also another level to that is in that bill that he's talking about passing this, like, it's the gender-affirming care, they don't have to tell the parents. So the kids are just talking to some random adult about how they feel a certain way. And like that's even beyond what you're saying, even more concerning because it's like that human being could have completely different biases. Yeah. And so they're going to input them on whoever's the kid is telling them like how I feel.
And not just biases. I don't trust some stranger to talk to my kid about their sex and their gender.
Period.
Right?
Like I don't, whether it's that or just the normal. It's like, why are you just not talking to kids about math and
yes, exactly.
School.
And by the way, we're falling behind in math and reading. So we our leaders are trying to convince our teachers to talk to kids about gender reassignment when they're 12 years old. Meanwhile, we don't do math as good as we used to. We don't do reading as good as we used to. Maybe we should focus on the that schools are actually supposed to teach kids. Again, it's common sense, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, that's their view, is that we should be teaching kids gender reassignment, and they think that we're weird. Doesn't make
How true is that, man? I mean, literally everyone, every kid, every person goes through development. Everyone has got an awkward stage. You either had one or you have one right now, or you're going to have one. Everyone has an awkward stage, man. And, if a kid has attention problems or problems with authority or any kind of discipline issue, the parents are involved. But if it's this, man, this one special, strange wedge issue, divisive and damaging thing, then the parents are expected to not be involved. And to me, man, that only proves that these people know that what they're doing is wrong. They know that what they're doing is harmful, and they know that there's a pretty damn good chance that they're not correct, right? But they want to be correct so bad. They want this to be the way things are so bad, and they want whatever they're doing to be the right thing for this child. I think. I hope that that's the case. But here's the thing, man. If you have to do something behind the backs of the parents of a child, literally the only people on the planet that will love that child no matter what, do anything they possibly need to or can to protect the kid forever, then you're not doing the right thing for anyone. And right now, we literally have people running for office that have done these sorts of things by executive order. Didn't even take the time to create law. Did it all by executive order, man. And I'm sorry, man, if that is the case, if you're doing those sorts of things, if you believe in those sorts of things, I don't think you can be trusted. I think that is without a doubt disqualifying, man. But we live in this crazy upside down time, man, where all that junk is okay. That's enlightened, that's tolerant, that's educated, that's the way. But then someone like JD is just a weirdo cult member, man. And that is absolutely incredible. It can't continue. It's got to end. But that's just my take, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.